Hey everybody, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer, and welcome to a new playthrough video. Today I'm going to be rolling up the pre-rolls for turn 14 of 5 Parsecs from home. My crew is leaving Key 4. They're heading to a red zone, or a red zone planet. So we will see. This is supposed to be like a more lucrative type job. I disagree with that. I'll get to that later. But so since I'm traveling, we're going to be starting on page 69. I've been on Key 4 for quite a few turns, so haven't done this in a while. But first thing I need to do is see if I'm fleeing an invasion. I am not. This planet was not being invaded. None of the rivals or fights that I did on Key 4 involved an enemy that was a invasion threat, and the enemies actually say that. Like here's one that says Swarm Brood, invasion threat. So none of the ones I fought said that. So I can skip that section. Now I need to travel. Now right now I have 9 credits to my name, and I tell you that because I've already done the math in my head, and this could be difficult. So it costs 5 credits normally to travel to another planet, but I have a fuel hog, so it is minus 6 credits to travel. All right. Now, during the travel, I have to roll a Starship travel event. So I'm going to roll D100, green is high. The chart starts on page 70, and I rolled a 4, which is asteroids. Of course. Asteroids. Rocky debris is everywhere. If you wish to avoid it, roll a D6. It requires a 5+ to chart a safe path. If successful, roll again on this table. To go through the field, select a crew member and roll 1d6 plus savvy 3 times, requiring a 4+ to succeed each time. Each failed roll inflicts 1d6 hull points. All right. I wish to avoid it. If you wish, roll 5+ to chart a safe path. If successful, roll again. Otherwise, you have to go through it. Oh, okay. So, I want to try to avoid it. So, let's do that. So, I roll a d6, and I got to get a 5 or higher. And I got a 3. So, apparently, I have to go through it. So, the highest savvy I have is my robot, which is +2. So, I need to roll 3 d6s. I'm going to add 2 to each one, and I need 4s or higher on each one. So these 2 made it, but that one failed. 1 + 2 is 3. So I take how many hull point damage? 6. 6 hull point damage. All right. Sounds good. Luckily, I do not have to re-roll on this chart. New world arrival. Okay, so the new world, I don't have a name for it yet. I should have come up with one. As a matter of fact, there is a name generation. No, it's not in this. It's in the expansion. All right, we'll call it New Targus. Targus. New Targus, and check for rivals. Any rivals you have will roll a d6. On a 5 or higher, they opt to follow you. I have 3 rivals on Key 4, so I'm gonna roll, and I'm looking for 5s or higher. Well, I don't want 5s or higher, and I didn't get any. So yay, none of the rivals followed me. 2, 4, and 4. All right. Dismiss patrons. Yes, I didn't have any persistent patrons. Check for license. Okay, here we go. A license costs... Oh, man. Okay, so roll a d6. On a 5 or 6, the world requires a license. It does not, so free. Oh, that's good because I have 3 credits to my name, and that I need that for upkeep. So the world trait... New Targus' world trait is this. You roll a D100. This is page 73. 54. 54 is weapon licensing. Any weapon obtained through the trade table or purchase costs an additional credit. All right, weapons +1 cred for trade or purpose. Trade or purchase. All right, I'll have to remember that. All right, let's keep going. Upkeep, here we go. Upkeep, as always, I have 8 crew, so it's -3 credits. And unfortunately, I am now zeroed out. Now, fortunately, ship debt is 0. Ship repairs. If your ship has sustained hull point damage, you may repair 1 point automatically. So now I'm down to 5 hull point damages. It says you may spend money to do it at 1 point of damage for each credit. I have no credit, so my ship is damaged. Pay for medical care. Blue Eyes is out on turn 14, which is this turn, so I don't have any medical care. Now I assign tasks. All right. I definitely want to find a patron. I don't need to train. Trade. We'll do a trade. Recruit, no. Explore, sure. These are ways to find things and maybe get some money. Track, look for a rival. Decoy, help avoid rivals. I don't have to do that. Or repair. So, unfortunately, I can only assign, I have 8 crew. I can assign 2 each. That leaves me with 2 crew to do something like, I guess I'll have them train. Okay, train. So, I will have the captain train, and I'll have they, because those 2 guys, well, actually, you know what? I'm going to have Huala. Those 2 guys I always want to be maxing their XP. They are just my top guys right now. So to find a patron will be the captain and 6. Trade will be Droon and Freak. And explore will be Blue Eyes and who else do I have? Huala, Vey, Blue Eyes, Droon, Freak, Captain 6. Who am I missing? Surge. Oh yeah, forgot about old Surge. All right, so let's do this. Find a patron. You roll a d6. On a 5 or higher, you get 1 patron. On a 6, you get 2. And it says you can add +1 to each crew member participating. I've got 2 crews, so let's roll this. I got a 5 + 2 is 7. So I have 2 patrons, which means 2 possible jobs. Excellent. All right, so that's done. Trade. We'll go to the trade table, which is on page 79. First roll, I've got 2 crew, is a 75, which is Army Surplus. Your choice of an auto rifle, blast pistol, or glare sword. Unfortunately, it cost me 1 credit because this is a trade action. The auto rifle would cost me a credit, so that's a done one, but I can't take the weapon. The second trade is 38, which is a useless trinket. Roll a d6. On a 6, you get 1 story point. I did not. So useless trinket. So both trades were a waste of time. Now we will do explore, which is on page 80. First exploration is an 18. See the sights. Enjoy the view. No effects. Man. All right. Second exploration is a 24. Time to relax. No effect. I mean, I guess I could burn a story point to redo that, but I don't want to because it could be something negative. I guess I'll take nothing over negative. And then train, they will get plus, is it +1 XP? I think it is. Yeah, 1 XP, and Huala will get 1 XP. Vey and Huala each get +1. All right, now let's find the jobs. Okay, so the patrons. I'm going to just label this Job 1, Job 2. Now we have to figure out what the type of patron it is. So Job 1 is a 9, which is a private organization. And you do, if you're playing this game or if you're thinking about playing it, you do need to track all this because patrons that you do a good job for can come back later to give you more work, especially if you ever roll a 6 or higher and get 2 jobs. One of those must always come from a previous patron. So if you just have 1 previous patron, it's easy, but if you have multiples, you'll have to roll randomly. The second job is a 7, which is a wealthy individual. Okay. Now let's go down the list here. All right, danger pay. This is turn 14. Let me make sure I understand that. Turn 14. Okay, danger pay for the private organization is a 4, which is just +1 credit. For 2 is a 1, which is +1 credit. Not much, not looking good so far for danger pay. Time frame. Time frame. First job is a 4, which is this turn. Other job is, I rolled an 8 off camera. It turned to a 4, but an 8 is this or following 2. I like those because if you decide to not do it this turn, you can always come back and do it. And as long as you do it within the time phase, that counts as a patron that's happy. All right, let's do this. Benefits, hazards, and conditions. Now here's where you have to roll a number or higher to see if there is one. So a private, what is it? I said private organization. Private organization is an 8 or higher for benefits. No. A wealthy is a 5 or higher. Yes. So there are no benefits for the first job, but there are for the wealthy. Let's see what it is. Roll a 10 on the benefits is a 4. Gain a rumor. I'm not doing quests, so I'm gonna burn a story point and re-roll that. I'm not gonna burn a story point. I'll just keep it. That's so stupid. It would not be the same thing. So I'm going to roll until I get something different. 5, that's fine. So -1 story point. And the 5 is roll on the trade table. Great. And it's probably going to cost me money. So let's go back to the trade table. Roll a D100. 91. 91 is pre-owned. Roll on the loot table. This item is damaged and needs repair. So let's go back to page 131. Roll on the loot table. I rolled an 87, which is a reward. Let's go to the reward table. And that is an 11, which is data files, which is 2 rumors. Forget it, whatever. The benefits are gone. Hazards. Let's do hazards. For a private organization, it is an 8 or higher. Yes, there is. For the other job, there is not. So the hazard is on page 84. Roll a D10. 5. It's a VIP. A random enemy will have +1 enemy. Random enemy has +1 combat. +1 toughness. And a final combat of +2. Combat is +2. Wow. We'll have a +1 toughness and a final combat skill of +2. It says a final combat skill, so it's not +2 to whatever their current combat is. It's just they have final combat of +2. All right. Well, and then let's do the conditions. Conditions for a private are 8 or higher. No. For the second job, no. No conditions. All right. No conditions. So the hazard. That's interesting. A VIP, a random enemy, but does it give me a random enemy will have a +1? Okay, so it's a hazard. There's no reward for it. So far, this job's not looking good. It's this job that's looking pretty good because it's the same pay, but I can do it whenever I want, but it doesn't have this VIP because I'm already going to be facing some dangerous characters given that I'm on a red zone planet. Assign equipment, don't have to do that. My crews have it. Resolve rumors, nope. Choose your battle. All right, here we go. So I could do the patron job for 1 credit, bonus, danger pay, and I really, really want to because you want patrons on worlds. Or I can do an opportunity job. The problem is I have to decide now. I'm going to go ahead and take job 2. So I'm going to take job 2, which is +1 credit. If I finish it, and we have to determine the deployment conditions. Deployment conditions are on page 88. You roll a D100. I rolled an 11. No conditions. All right, that's good. That means like no limited visibility, nothing like that. Notable sites. D100. I rolled an 83, which is a peculiar item. Okay, so the item is plus 2 XP, and it has to be 2d6 plus 2 inches from the center in a random direction. So it will be placed 9 inches from center, random direction. I do this one quite often, so I know about this one. Now, let's determine the objective. It is a patron mission. So it's a 7, which is... Oh, you just roll a d10. Excuse me. All right, let me roll this. Let me roll a d10. I rolled a 6, which is secure. I forget what that is. Secure. You must end... Oh, yeah. You must end 2 consecutive rounds with each crew member within 2 inches of the center of the table. A crew member with an enemy within 6 inches does not count. Once this is achieved, you win. If you drive off the opposition, you complete the objective at your leisure. That's not true, because red zones have different conditions, which I'll get to in a moment. All right, so we got the objective, which is secure, and now we need to determine the enemy. All right, so here we go. So first off, let me go back here to Appendix. Is it 3? It's 3. Appendix 3 is where it describes red jobs. There are other things you have to do here. So there is a threat condition. And you roll looks like you roll a d6. You roll a d6. It is a 3. Pitch black. Visibility limited 6 inches. This overrides any other visibility reductions. Well, shoot. I mean, first I got none of that, and now I've got 6 inches. Visibility limited to 6. I don't like that. I'm going to burn a story point. So now I'm down. I went 4. By the way, I went up to 4 because at turn 12, every 3 turns you get a +1 story point. So I have 4. I burned 1 a minute ago, so I'm down to 3. Now I'm down to 2 story points. But I got to re-roll that. 5. What is 5? Armored opponents. All opponents with 3 toughness upgraded to 4. So 3 tough goes to 4 tough. Ooh, I don't know if I like that, Mia. That's tough. And the time constraint. This is the one I was talking about. I knew there was a time constraint. This also is a D6. I rolled a 5. Evac now. The battle ends immediately. You do not hold... Oh, you know what? Sorry. You're supposed to do this at the end of round 6. But I tell you what, I rolled it. So when round 6 ends, the game ends. I have to evac, apparently. It says you do not hold the field, and you only win if you achieved your objective. So unfortunately, the battle ends immediately. You do not hold the... Well, this is at the end of round 6. So if I kill everybody and succeed on my mission by round 6, I don't have to evac. That's terrible. All right. So I don't get to hold the field. Holding the field is useful because you get some extra rolls for that. All right, now there are rules on page 150 related to the opposition. This says, do not roll for opposing numbers. Instead, you will encounter a base of 7 plus any modifiers of the enemy type. So let's roll the enemy type. So the first thing you do, there's a table on 94. I'm doing a patron. So you roll a D100. I rolled a 50, which is hired muscle. All right, so it's hired muscle. So go to the hired muscle table. Hired muscle. Being paid professional, you are -1 to seize the initiative. -1 to any attempt. So every time, so at the first, you only do seize the initiative at the beginning of the game. So -1 to seize it. All right. Then you roll a D100 to see what you're fighting. I rolled a 46, which is warbots. Ooh. Warbots. They have +0 modifier for the number, so I'm facing 7 of them. They have 0 panic. Oh, man. Their speed is 3. That's good. Their combat is +1. Their toughness is 4, so I don't have to that one condition that said anything that's 3 goes to 4. They're all at 4. They are aggressive, and their weapon is 3C. The CIM model warbot, nicknamed the Demon, is a mainstay of high-tech mech infantry forces. They are fearless, never affected by morale. Don't do morale rolls. They also have a 5+ saving throw due to armor, which means if I hit them and if I exceed their toughness, then I roll a d6, and on a 5 or higher, they just shrug it off. Wow. Okay. All right. So there are 7 of these guys. Now, here's how this works. There's not just 7, because Appendix 3 says opposing figures will include 3 specialists and 1 lieutenant. So there's 1 lieutenant, 3 specialists, which leaves 3 thugs. And I use the word thug just to define the lowest level, bad guy, right? And it says add +1 to the roll for a unique individual. So I've got to roll for unique. For a unique, you roll, and this does not count against this 7. This is just an added enemy. You roll 2d6, and on a, 10? 9 or higher, there's the unique individual. But I have to add 1 to the results. I rolled a 7 plus 1 is 8. Ugh, no unique. Oh, thank goodness. All right. So no unique. Was there anything else I need to know about red jobs? Add +1 to the roll. All rolls for invasion threats. I don't think they're an invasion threat. I did not look at that, but let me see. They were hired muscle warbots. They are not an invasion threat, so that doesn't matter. However, the improved rewards. If you hold the field, each figure gets a bonus 1 XP. Okay. When rolling for credits, roll twice and pick the better roll. Remember earlier in this video I told you that these were supposed to be very lucrative? I disagree with that, because if you roll 2 1s, you still get only 1 credit for a very more difficult job. I'm not going to house rule this, but I really think that this should have been something like, when roll for credits, add 5 to the results of each and take the higher. That would make Red Zone more attractive. Right now, going up against higher numbers, more difficult enemies, and you still just get a general credit roll to see what you get, that's not so great. If you win, you may make an additional roll on the loot table. I don't care about that. This may be my first and only time on a red zone for a while. We'll see how this battle goes. But so far, I'm not impressed with the payout for a red zone. That 1 extra dice roll, and then you pick the 2 highest. Obviously, if you roll a 6, yeehaw. But like I said, if you roll a 1, 2, or 3 on both die, you're not getting paid for the danger. So just my 2 cents. No unique. I've got their numbers. Let's roll for their weapons. The weapons are on page 104. So the thugs, you roll a d6. The thugs are column 3. They rolled a 3. They have infantry lasers. Wow. Infantry, those don't sound good. Infantry lasers are range, 30. And they have 1 shot. And they are snapshot, which means if they get within 6 inches of you, I think they get +1 to hit. The specialists are going to be armed with, and it's column C, 1, a marksman's rifle. So they all have marksman's rifles, which I believe also have a range of 30. 36 in 1 shot. And they're heavy, which means if they move before they fire, it's -1 to hit. And the lieutenant is armed with a plasma rifle. Man, it's too bad you can't get that if you defeat them. The plasma rifle is a 20-inch range, 2 shots, and +1 to the damage roll to see if it gets through your toughness. Ooh! And it's focused and piercing. Focus means both shots have to be against the same target. Piercing, I can't recall, but I'm sure it has to do with armor. Let's just see what piercing says. Piercing is, it ignores armor saving throws. So like my robot has an armor saving throw and the captain has an armor saving throw, those go away. Ooh, wow. All right. So to summarize, I've taken on a wealthy client who's going to give me +1 hazard pay. Woohoo! No benefits, no hazards, no conditions. However, there are deployment conditions. Well, there's not a deployment condition, but there is a threat condition and a time constraint. I have to do this by round 6. The threat constraint goes away. Notable sight, I get +2 XP if I can get that object that's 9 inches from the center. I'll roll, when I set the table up, I'll roll randomly for its location. And that is it. Wow. All right. So what I'll do is I will write up all this in a nice, neat format and include it in the roster sheet for the crew. You can find a link in the video description below where you can download that and read over my summary of everything that I'm going to be facing in the Turn 14 battle video, which will be the next video after this one. All right, that's it for tonight. This was the Turn 14 pre-rolls. The next video will be the battle. Hope you'll join me then. I'll be back very soon. Until then, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer. Thanks for joining me on this 5 Parsecs from Home playthrough, and take care.